Good morning. This is Dr. Mia Luth, and today is Saturday, 10/26/2022, 10:54 a.m. Eastern Seaboard time. Uh, it's I didn't really get a lot of sleep last night, but I got a little, so that's good. Um, and better than nothing, but coffee and cold water does the trick sometimes. Um, so I'm closing my Etsy shop. This that's not even freaking worth it to me. And all it proves is it just adds to my evidence. So, you know, there are the shop rules, okay, previously policies with mystery bags is the one that seems to be the issue. Um, you know, the description says like this is this and this is this. Here's what you can expect. Things will be, and it used to be that if you get the shipping out, you know, at a reasonable, and people who don't understand how your store works and all well beyond my control, and it wasn't anything that I promised or described. And so, if that's the case, fine, you win. So I have everything. I've been double checking everywhere to make sure that I have things that are organized and clean and in a way that's, you know, as ready to use right out of the box as I can. Um, you know, this is part of the problem is some people have to work for him. From him, we don't have a choice. Like, if I weren't here, I'd likely be in a hospital or dead. So apparently, when people try to find good ways to express creatively and then find ways to make a purchase, help others while trying to build a charity fund is something that is frowned upon by people I don't know online who have expectations and understandings that are nothing I can do about. But now the policies are I got to take the freaking hit. I can't afford that. Okay. I can't afford somebody who's just like, well, if we bitch enough, get more stuff for free. I'm like, would you like my like shoes too? You want to see me beg? Do you want to see me cry? Is it that's gonna work for you? Fine. But I hope that's not the way that you're always gonna be. So, if people are gonna make it so freaking difficult to even volunteer in this country, well, screw you. But the evidence keeps piling up. And so I just try to get through a day every day. But it's just too sad for me to even try and think about it anymore. That's why they turn a blind eye because, well, you got to have a hard heart and you got to get in there and stick it to them. And a lot of people stick it to people who don't even deserve it. But that's okay because apparently extortion now by bullying people on Etsy to get free stuff or discounts based on something that was not even described. Things don't surprise me. Is why people have asked me, it's like, why is this not like, why would this surprise me? The extent of depravity of human behavior reaches some depths. Now, I don't care about your depths. Do what you want. As far as I'm concerned, you don't exist to me, so it's okay. But it's not something I suggest for reasonable, rational human beings to do, or for anyone to copycat, because essentially that is browbeating and telling people this thing. And but there's some who got the dollar bills and they don't want to deal with it, but I don't. So if you can't see the merit of something, or you think you're teaching someone a lesson, or you think you're being helpful to someone, or you think you got some way to manipulate certain things that just can't ever change, I know why you're frustrated, and there's something you can do about it, but you don't want to. So once that happens, like later, it'll hit you eventually. A lot of times, yep, all kinds of people on the planet hit you way too late. And so that's why I open my mouth and show my gross wound with my ridiculously painful golf ball sized cysts hanging out in stupid places. My Humira, that's what my alarm is for. It's still a little cold, so I'm gonna not do that. I'm glad that I can finally get to doctors and have insurance and like get some kind of relief from that part anyway. So if anybody's wondering about it, it does make you sensitive to a lot of things, and there's some things that you got to track. So it doesn't exactly make certain things easier, but I have at least 50% fewer any kind of breakouts. And there are certain topicals that will dry it up without hurting it. So you get faster, longer, better relief from it. I mean, in general. So I can say that Humira for hidradenitis suppurativa has been, after the first maybe 2 months that I was on it, there was a significant difference, which very helpful to me, because like I can't just get in a car and go drive to the dermatologist whenever something pops up and to get it cut out. But anybody who has it, I know, want to hide it. Some people won't even get into intimate relationships about it because people are ignorant sometimes. But It is pus, see what I'm saying? So sometimes it's not so nice. Okay. But regular hygiene and other things, it's not contagious to anyone. So it's just not something that makes you feel sexy. So humor for that part. But I know that people want me to say things like, oh, it's just so great, such a miracle. 50% is widely different than the majority of my life since it's been past like stage 2. But when I was younger, you go somewhere and it, like affected hairs, just put a compress. And yeah, some didn't even realize that it was like a whole condition, right? So, but you get one, it's just like, what are you at work? Or you, excuse me, I'm just put my foot up on my desk. Yeah, I'm oozing. I gotta put the, you see what I'm saying? I mean, maybe. Like, there might be some ice hockey clubs and other, like, places where it's just perfectly cool. And yeah, I hang on the hell, God. And it takes a while. So, you know, those kind of suck. But I do agree that the risks, though, for at least me, are acceptable. So I can say that much. And specs. Oh, see, you always gotta check, but some of them are air bubbles. But I mean, get the other one out just in case. You do always, always, always have to check. This is very important. Some like see this. It's not like particles, but it it does look like air bubbles. So I'm gonna get the other one out just to be sure. So I know there are people like me who have to be at home for various reasons, illness and other things like that. And so I I know I've been just trying so hard to not feel like I'm like trapped in the house. It's a horrible trap from which I cannot escape. Um, but you gotta try to leave these things on. I know I mentioned them are window scenes. Okay. And for not a lot of money, depending, but $20 you can get. You know, they have different sizes and they have different scenes, and it does kind of make a difference because you just stop for a second. It's water. Now, the one thing I kind of wanted to do for myself was try and find waterfall sound effects and have them on. Having a water feature in here is probably not something that I'm going to be trying to do quickly. But anyway, I'm not going to make plans anymore or really talk or say much to anyone regarding anything anymore. So last night had the flashing light situation. So I know it could be this is an old house, okay, but what didn't get on camera was then I had another, this one over here, and one in the kitchen, which is another reason that I'm just thinking about leaving just live cameras up, because it just seems to be starting up again. And for me to even be able to explain things to people when I don't have a way to put it right now. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying hard to have a sense of humor again, but I don't know that's gonna happen. I really don't. So yeah, anybody's interested, I will be just selling the whole shop stuff. Oh, don't worry, you'll get a really good deal. Um, but sleep issues. Here's something you do have to try, and you gotta try to at least like get up out of bed and sit in a chair. I mean, something, yeah, and because it's just good for you, but it can help you wake up and get alert sometimes. So my balance breaks. I get this when I get this at Walmart. Of course, I have to shop at Walmart, everybody. Oh, I know. Because you guys have cars and like at least $10,000 extra in your bank account to go get the frou-frou stuff and make your political statement. But not everybody can do that. So you work with what you got. Yeah, this thing can come up on the Snap thing. It came up. Yeah, it didn't come up as a food. I mentioned it to it, but still, it's like there's like a 6-pack you can buy, and depending on what kind of like dietary stuff, um, you can pick and choose. So if you can't have certain things, there's probably something. This one is the white cheddar, sea salted roasted almonds, and dried cranberries. And so it's just like to get a little bit in the belly. Keeps them consistent. And come in handy. So good for on the go, but good when you just need something to grab you. You just need some consistent energy. Um, and I like the different combinations. I'm not like a sweet tooth, so I try to not go there. But some people are. Um, here's some fun. Like, my apartment is sort of an interesting layout. But my bathroom is actually attached to in the kitchen. It's kind of weird. But when I go in and sit down, oh yeah, I think I said this. Then downstairs, neighbors, Dove. I'm I'm on the toilet. I get serenaded by a dove every time I'm in the bathroom. That's not so bad for like Ray. Like, how many people get the dove serenade when they're doing their business? So sometimes I'm like, I like the bathroom. Cooing and cooing. So, you know, hey, at least my bathroom is cool. And birds that out on the windowsills. I felt so bad for them this summer because around here it was like at least 105, something 100, 105 heat index for a few days in a row. And the poor birds just when birds get really hot, they'll like open surface area to get something cool, so they put their wings out and they kind of pant. I felt so bad for them. I'm like, oh my god, they're getting fried like right in front of my. I can't have this. No, like fried birds. No. So I put a bunch of little water stations out so they could, but it did not look like a good time for the birds. Most of them didn't want to move most of the day. But they have these interesting little things in the morning that there's like starlings out there, and starlings are a little annoying and bossy and pushy. So the other little birds will be out there, oh happy, but then comes the starling, and this bird just isn't nice at all. But the little birds, they will gang up on it, so eventually it'll go away. But it's kind of the same routine almost every morning. Um, yeah, like I said, I think I'm probably going to be leaving live stuff up and trying to put an extra little camera. I don't know. I'll figure something out because I mean, if I can catch some of it on camera or live and something, I'll review it. If it starts happening again, somebody else gonna have to deal with it. You handle it, tough guy. I've known a lot of people in my life. Some of them say that, like, there's some people I know have these like sayings that they used to say. Um, a woman I went to school with, lesbian, and you say, okay, like if you're talking to her in the car, you say, okay, now go straight, and she'll say, I cannot go straight. I can only go gaily forward. So, she's there's no, we don't say that word for any reason. What the? I hope that was kind of funny. Um, But anybody who is going to shop, even on a budget, probably a good idea to, like, try to get not so expensive little wall hangings and things, because changing things around a little bit sometimes helps. And so doing it on the cheap is probably another good idea. And it helps sometimes because, like, you look at things or you move things around, and then, but it also is a way to clean around and behind things, which a lot of people don't. Well, I don't know. People are angry. Some people don't like me. Maybe if you want me dead, it's hard to tell. Paying attention to that. Election cycles are just depressing for me. But I kind of drop out and do whatever I do. I'm not get involved in conversation, because it doesn't matter what you say on the street. Somebody's gonna yell at you for something. There's just no point even trying to speak to people anymore. Not, it's not worth the damage. So, I mean, I don't really know what to say. Say, I know when I'm yelling, ouchie, ouchie. But I'm just like, I know I am. Like, go somewhere else for a few minutes. So, and grumpy people, older people, come on, man. I know all the joints hurt and all damn punk kids. There was a senior sitting at the lab court place, which, oh crap, I gotta do fasting labs tomorrow. But she was just talking and highly annoyed. The entire waiting room got to find out. Like, the older I get, the more impatient I get. I don't know. I don't know why somebody's barking like that. All right, duly noted. But you gotta take in context, sort of, that you're sitting in a medical place where people gotta get stabbed and things, and everybody. It's like, so if you look at it that way, you just kind of like, okay. I've been trying to figure out. I don't know what I did, but I had a bunch of music that I wanted to put on a little thing. It was on there. I even listened to some of it, but the next day it wasn't anymore. It's gone. So I guess it was one day only. Is there one chance only? One day only. All the music you want to listen to, and then you go away. Oh no! So my hair's like not in. It's not looking so good, but for the past couple of days, I've been doing a vitamin E soak, because as you get older, sometimes they get dry and brittle. And because this is not my hair, I'm growing this for somebody's cancer wig. I like to try and keep it like the same color the same length, I guess, healthy as I can get it. So the vitamin E oil, but I have to do like a couple days soak because it's really does get kind of dry. But it does seem to help the situation. And not like I gotta brush my hair more often. It's just when it gets to a certain length, it's just okay. 2 hours later, but for simple stuff, vitamin A, and it does seem to work. And you can get that lots of places for pretty inexpensive. And you don't need a lot, just maybe like, well, my hair, probably about a quarter size or more, but depending on the length of hair. Sometimes being at home when you're reading a book, this is I I'll start to read a book sometimes, and sometimes I am, but if I do, like I get about a paragraph in, but I'll get sleep starts, so it's hysterical. Like, yeah, okay, reading, okay, I have to, but I'll get a sleep start, and like I don't know, I'm just like up at it, like something's in the house, but I know that's usually what the hell was that? It gets kind of like sort of overblown when you get a sleep start. And a lot of people don't get sleep starts, which is good. But it there's some there's some funny things like what the, but it's just me like in that nodding off stage, kind of like little kids and grandpas. When you're little kids when you're driving, like yep, you watch them. Dogs and cats do that too. Come on, people have seen this one. Right? They're trying so hard to keep that going. It's just eventually the sleep gets them. Um, the dogs are like, yeah, no, I'm good. Everything's yeah, okay, great. Okay. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm good. Okay. Animals are good to have, especially if you're home a lot. Because then you have like a furry friend who then can amuse you with interesting things we didn't know about about animals. Like this probably didn't want to know about animals. So I miss having a furry friend. But I got the hamster. I'm gonna have to work something out. This little guy. He's a nipper. Like they're chewers and biters and everything. It's fine. And so with the little training stick I can like get him to do things, and he's paper trained, so he's starting to get used to me. But not quite like a kitty cat or a dog friend. So if you can, try and get some kind of furry friend. Or tell your friends to bring their furry friend over so you can talk to them. Um, there's a couple of things I probably want to sell, but I'm trying to figure out logistics, which wait, okay, no, maybe that won't work. And not having a car gets makes things more difficult, especially if you live a little further out where there's not like, you know, metropolitan bus thing, whatever. And all right, check my humor. Oh, crap. These are air bubbles, I'm sure of it. But if you don't know and you can't tell the difference, maybe you call the pharmacy, or I'm sure there's like something, because it's basically any particles. Okay? But if you tap on it, most of the time, if it's bubbles, oh yeah, that's fine. This bubbles. You can kind of tap on it a little bit every so often, and they'll like figure their way. So this is okay because it's not particles. So I'm gonna do mine now again. I'm glad that I at least get 50% difference in that medical situation, because it's a whole lot better than before. Here, no matter what kind of stuff I put on it, it's not like a hygiene thing, sometimes. And sometimes it's not even infected hair. Occasionally you'll find when it's all like, oh, well, that makes sense. Sometimes it's not. So I keep thinking it's got something to do with the lymph nodes, but whatever. I don't care what it has to do with. It's just not an SCD, and it's not because you're gross. And if people can't hack it, then tell them to take a hike and take their ugly dog with them too. So you have to rotate. Okay, I remember, because like I have this, I do it clockwise, right? And I remember when just about the time I'm gonna do this, I remember which one I did last. So I know that I'm doing, there's 4 injections, and I'm not gonna like show it totally because some people may not like that, but it is a very easy situation to use. It's easy. It's just there. And if you get a handful, then you just be brave and push the plunger. Okay. It's count to 15. This one will empty in like 11, but I keep it. And not even. And I did use one of these, come in the package, but I wipe off after 2. I don't have a single drip, and the needle is teeny. And it doesn't really hurt if you grab some flesh, get some fat. Some you don't have that. I don't know what. Yeah, I tell you, I've got fat, but it doesn't really hurt. It's not that scary. Just do it like you mean it. Got a very good plunger. I mean, you can't make a mistake or misfire, which is dosed. And as long as you're looking in there and you're doing it and holding it, it's a quick go. I have noticed a few side effects. The problem is, I have more than one medical situation, which certain medications can be a certain way. I have to be more careful with shots, vaccines, than other kind of things. Methylprednisone, oral steroids. So, but if you do go on it, I got an called an AbbVie ambassador, and AbbVie is the one that makes it. So, help me understand all the meds and all the things, and help if I had to get for prescription. And So kind of walk me through the whole thing. And so you get that, and plus you do it. It's like, just makes it easy. It's not a complicated like situation once you get insurance approval for it. Um, but like I said, it may not be able for everybody. But for hydronitis suppurativa, consistent 50% better, and other things seem to be better too. So, you know, at least I've got that, and they need to get golf ball size freaking things cut out of me. It can happen in the armpits, ladies. Mhm. Um, like the area, groin area, where it can happen on your butt. So if you notice things that start looking like, depending, like they're doctors, it's probably some kind of doctors YouTube might notice, or you might want to ask, like, what is this like? Okay, now these days, like, people are aware more of what HS looks like, and so the differences between like certain things. So, um, you'll probably get a faster diagnosis than I did. So, 20 years was my diagnosis time. It can often start as a teenager, but there's things you should read about it. I'm not the total expert. I'm just saying, as a person, that it's definitely helped me a little. And well, because it's a biologic, it may also help with some, minor pain or situation or other things that um uh it helps with, because it's not originally made for it. But like, I don't know if you do this. So spondylitis, I don't know. It can be tricky and scary, but don't just like put paperwork that you get with your medications or from doctors or from pharmacies in a pile, and then not paying attention to them, because you can save your own life just by reading something that is, let me see. Yeah, the drug interactions, and it tells you about that. So essentially, it's about 2 pages. It's worth reading to save your own life. Don't be bewildered and mystified when information gets provided to you. But for something like this, okay, it's worth reading to save your own life. Okay. There may be something that didn't, and everybody's got to check, the doctors, the pharmacists, yeah, and the patient. Because you might be more prone. I am taking this at a higher risk than most. So my risk factors are higher, but I don't care. I'm doing it. Um, because of infections. I know I don't have TB, but I am more prone to certain infections. And so I do get a few of the symptoms that I know have to be from this, not my medication. But I get them from other things anyway. Yeah, occasionally night sweats, but I can't really say it's not something else. But I didn't have that bad at night. I don't care. See what I'm saying? I put the fan right by my face. I don't care. But these things aren't really for the recycling bin if you haven't read them. And you gotta do that for yourself. But there are a lot of people. I don't know, I get this stuff from the doctor. I mean, you gotta be a part of it. Because if you don't, I mean, you're not being very careful with your own life. And maybe you should consider why it is you're not being careful with your own life. It's not a good idea. It just isn't. It's not some funny thing. Oh, yeah, I got, horrible illness and I took this stuff and now I get this huge rash and I got to get surgery and I died from it. Being like that, after a while, I'm not going to feel sorry for you. But any number of adults out there, give me paperwork and then may miss the fact that every so often there could be a rare, or every so often there could be something agile, right, based on certain cycles of your own natural self, or an illness you got that didn't quite all the way. And especially COVID, I mean, I really don't think I'm gonna make it, but I'm at least totally abundantly aware of what to look for signs. It's anything that really becomes an issue. But I'm having more and more of it, But going to the ER, they just tell me they don't know why I'm at the ER, and they send me home. But it should be obvious. I'm not functioning at all like a healthy, normal human being. Not of my own doing. Life can just throw you one that's just like, ugh. But I'm tired of it. I mean, too many times it's happened. This is not worth even thinking about it at this point. But be very careful about your medications. You understand? Try to read things that, I mean, if there's like stuff, most of these things, there's technical terms in here, but there's also, you know, plain clear stuff. And at least if you read it, it might, because if you leave the country or you need to get another vaccine, you got to be vigilant. And I know it sucks. You want to do things, but you got to have this schedule all the time, because if you fuck it up, you might end up dead. So always be sure to read these things. And sometimes doctors are in a hurry, and sometimes doctors may not know what you know or know how you process it. And but try to write it down, or just stammer and stumble like a dummy. Like I can't wait. But if I go, I mean, try anyway. You can save your own life this way, or the life of someone in your family. You know, everybody should be involved in that process. But people think that they don't need to do that. I don't really agree. And that's part of the reason why, as much good as there is in this world, I mean, some of you don't even fucking try. And you all praise this shit. Like, I can't help it if people are walking around with guilty consciences and then think that for some reason they can just do whatever they want, however they want it, without consideration of the rest of the freaking world. Little children do that, but you're supposed to be covering their heads. That's okay, but not for adults, unless, certain developmental situation. So, paranormal activity that it can't be readily explained, has happened around me, and it's been happening since 2013. And I mean, there was just no way for me to be thinking anything like that was going to be the possibility. But I've been pretty much scared beyond any measure of my ability to handle it since then. So, best I can do is try and get some phone video and try and get it live so that other people at least have it and can use it. Because that's another issue that's been occurring. And I don't really like to talk about it too much. Not because people wouldn't believe me. I don't care about that anymore. It's because there are some who are absolutely convinced that the way they are proceeding is the best way. And there's no evidence of that. So anything I can get live, anything I can get on camera, because there's some stuff that's starting to happen again. But I can be honest and tell you that I've done everything I can to try and report what I look for. I mean, I did not at all think in my mind that it was started out with one plastic shelf falling off a, bathtub, garden tub thing that was drying would cause me. It will be the beginning of some shit that I know I did not bring on myself. And there was no doubt in my mind, anybody who does any of that kind of stuff, research, whatever. I mean, there was just no other explanations. And the one thing which I don't really understand, but that made it much more clear for me was, this kid's toy occasionally, sometimes that'll happen, but it was happening a little more often. And one of them that ran on batteries, like, started making a little sound. And so I went and checked, and it didn't have batteries in it. So That one was a little harder to explain. I mean, like every single sign there could be. I don't fucking know what to do. I don't know how to perceive this. But I'm not going to have angry people dumping another second of your issues on me. I was trying to volunteer, which, considering all my qualifications, should just have been accepted as okay. But that's not what happened. And so eventually, humankind will have to face up to some things to say, well, some of it you earn yourselves. And the good women, like the good women that are gonna fuck you up, and the good women that are gonna come outside with a baseball bat and some assholes are fucking doing stupid shit, you understand? And right, aren't gonna let the kids get hurt. They disappear from you because you wanted something different. And some of us are like, no way, sucker. That's why. That's why they either turn hard or they just say single, or they commit suicide. So have your way. It's fucking killing me because I'm making like